Hello, I am Dr. Maria Carinnes Alejandria, a Filipino feminist anthropologist based at the University Brunei Darussalam. My work focuses on food security, disaster management, and social health. I also serve as part of the steering committee of Just Futures Collaborative. In Southeast Asia, the devastating impact of climate change is more than an environmental crisis. It has become a tool for authoritarian governance. Governments are weaponizing the concept of risk to justify policies that criminalize the most vulnerable and marginalized communities. In the Philippines, informal settlers bear the brunt of this weaponization. After flooding events, these communities are often labeled as illegal occupants and blamed for obstructing waterways. This narrative paves the way for forced demolitions and securitized relocation efforts, often without proper consultation or viable alternatives for displaced families. This securitized approach extended during the COVID-19 pandemic. Informal settlers were scapegoated for virus transmission, accused of being hard-headed and violating lockdown protocols. Military and police presence intensified in these communities, enforcing strict measures that disproportionately punish the poor rather than addressing systemic healthcare gaps. Under the guise of disaster response and humanitarian aid, some states tightened their grip on power. Activists, journalists, and community leaders advocating for environmental justice often face surveillance, harassment, and even arrest. Climate change intensifies these struggles. As disasters become more frequent and more severe, governments invoke emergency powers, not always to protect people, but to silence dissent and weaken civil society. This weaponization of risk doesn't just hinder disaster recovery, it deepens inequality, making it harder for communities to organize, resist, and recover. Efforts to demand accountability and sustainable policies are met with criminalization. We must recognize that disaster governance is deeply political. Climate action must include protecting human rights and empowering those most affected by both environmental crisis and state repression. At Just Futures Collaborative, we are committed to building a future where resilience means not only surviving disasters, but dismantling systems of oppression that exploit this crisis.